Barbara Lee, do people get anti when the medical insurer is throwing money into sponsorship of whatever?
Well, that's right. That's a bit of a red flag, really. Companies that are spending all of that in their marketing budget. There are other companies that don't do that, and therefore their premiums are a lot more efficient because they run a more efficient ship. We don't all need to have that level of marketing just for awareness.
Because I mean, I'm insured with a company through a broker but they're throwing buckets of money out into television, and I'm going, oi, no.
Yeah, it's
So
a bit
perhaps I
concerning,
should
isn't it?
actually have a look at reassessing that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of options out there, and they're all very different. When it comes to medical insurance, there's lots of options, and we have access to risk researchers, which we can show people how the companies rate, the products rate, and why we might be choosing a particular company. It's nice, transparent sort of process.
Hank, is it easy to change companies?
Not always. It depends on circumstances. Pre-existing conditions will very much determine whether you can shift or not. It's a bit like insuring your car and having it crashed, and even though that crash might have been fixed, there may be something wrong with that car. So the new insurer is not going to take responsibility for what's happened in the past. It's much the same with medical insurance. If you've got a pre-existing condition, a new insurer is unlikely to cover that. I'm not saying they won't, but they will look at that and they'll do a due diligence over that claims or those pre-existing conditions they had, and that'll make it extremely difficult.
See, Barbara Lee, I mean, I've had 2 hernias. Now, they've both been fixed, so that shouldn't be a problem because it's been fixed.
Well, it depends on your medical notes, what they say, and also an amount of time where you've been treatment or symptom free. So they sort of have a time frame on different types of events as to when they might, take a look at that and give you full cover in return. But when you say that medical premiums have gone up a lot, there's lots of ways that we can manage that as well. So there's options that we can go through with people, and with a goal to getting that premium down to something that's affordable, because really the key thing is to keep that cover in place because it's so valuable to you. Since you've taken it out, you might have a new condition that means you wouldn't get cover elsewhere. So rather than just cancelling it because the premium's gone up, give us a ring and we can talk about the options and help you through that.
I think the important thing is there are options. So if we liken it a little bit to car insurance, because it is very similar in many ways. I mean, it's just a vehicle that we're insuring. There are options out there to be able to mitigate that to a degree. For example, if you've got an old car that you can't afford a whole lot, and our first car, Dad would have said to us, get third-party insurance, boy, because at the end of the day, if you hit someone else, at least you're not going to be paying that off for the rest of your life. There are similar options within medical insurance. You don't need a very comprehensive insurance. What you need to do is you need to make sure that you've got the big events covered. Those joints that are going to wear out as we get older, so you don't have to wait in the public health system or have to pay or get bumped all the time or go into a situation where there's overcrowding in a hospital environment. You've got choices. So the ability to have almost like a third party insurance is certainly available, and certainly
A minimum cover.
Minimum cover.
See,
Cover your
I wouldn't.
biggest risk.
Sorry.
Well, it helps you cover your biggest risks.
Correct.
If you can afford to have more than that, that's great. But if you, as a minimum, those big ticket items to have those have it available. Wouldn't you want to have access to a surgery if you were told you had to have a surgery rather than be on a waiting list, which could really affect you?
I'm sort of chuckling because I know your reaction is going to be, Hank, because I've had 4 operations in 20 years, and in those 20 years I haven't claimed on a car.
Yeah, statistics tell us that we've got more chance now of claiming off our health insurance than we do off our car insurance. Depends a little bit where you live. I think if you're in Auckland, where there's a lot more vehicles, and there's probably a greater chance of having a motor vehicle accident. But at the end of the day, statistically across the board, we've got more chance of claiming on our medical insurance than we do in a car. I mean, we talked about this before. In the last 20 years, how many times have you claimed on your car insurance?
No, I haven't.
How many times have you claimed on your medical insurance?
4.
4.
And what's your most precious asset? Your car or you?
Me? Absolutely.
Absolutely right.
So Barbara Lee, if somebody wants to look at changing, are you able to talk to them, put a proposal into one of your insurance companies, and then assess whether they want to pick it up or not?
Exactly. Once you have an offer presented to you, then you can choose, well, is that, to my betterment, or, am I better to stay where I am? But we certainly wouldn't put them through that process unless we thought we could make a difference to them in the first place.
And it depends on the condition. If you've had appendicitis and your appendix are removed, it's never coming back, is it?
No.
So yes, you might get an exclusion for appendicitis, but it's irrelevant. it's a nonsense.
Yeah, it's sort of, yeah, that is really.
So it really depends on the condition. It really depends on the individual concerned. It may be that they have a pre-existing condition that has been fixed, that they're not concerned about. They're not worried about that. We're worried about what's going to happen in the future, the bigger events.
Put the line in the water and find out what's out there.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of people out there with medical insurance that have got conditions already excluded on there,
Yep.
which have never been reviewed,
Yep.
and are reviewable, and they could be, possibly taken off their policy. So, if you do have that kind of thing on your medical policy, it's great to sit down and just go through that again.
Yeah.
Indeed. So the bottom line is, when it comes to health insurance, go to see your broker or your agent such as these two and find out what is out there, and also update it, because a penny saved is a penny earned.